So I won't lie. Up until this point, a lot of my confessionals have been very scripted and very. I've thought through what I want to say in them before I do them. But right now, I'm at the point where there's no point in recapping what we've done. We have executed our plan to a T. It's been flawless. Not flawless, but I mean, the fact that our boot list was set and has been executed is phenomenal. But the more I think about the end game, the more I become concerned about this game. The end game, in a final three scenario, there are only two options. A, it comes down to a comp, and the person with the most steps gets in that final two through a comp. Or B, it comes down to luck. And two people go to the end and they're within three steps of each other and it comes down to a roll of a dice. Neither one of those is appealing to me. It's awful. It beats you down because there's no positioning you can do. In a two life format, you can position yourself to where you're either have two lives in that final three and you can vote out the other person if you win a comp, or sorry, I just completely lost my train of thought. This is what happens when you get unscripted confessionals. It's just really different from a two life format. Like a two life format, I feel like there's a little bit more positioning in the beginning of the game that you can do to make your end game easier. But in a format like this, where we've played for so long, like I just have to be locked in. That's the only option that makes sense to me right now. Because we're at the final six. It's myself, Bryce, and Matt, the faction, and Kyler as the strategists. We have four. And Kyler flipping, if Kyler was going to flip, he would have done it at 7. That's the only time it makes sense. If you're going to flip, flipping at an odd number is the only thing that makes sense. Like flipping at an even number is really weird. In this game, it's a little less weird because it comes down to a comp rather than like a random luck based like rock draw or something. But the fact that it still comes down to a comp means it's not a viable option. If you're going to flip, you need to do it in an odd number. And this is not an odd number. This is a position where we have a clear 4-on-2 advantage. I don't see the Brat Pack flipping on me to vote with the social team and Kyler. That sounds crazy as I talk about it. Like I don't see that happening. There have been so many other options where if they really saw me as like that big of a threat, they would have gotten me out. And the fact that I've been so locked in with them, like there's been nothing that has happened that they know about that I haven't told them about. Don't get me wrong, there are absolutely conversations that I've had that Matt and Bryce don't know about, but the people who I've had them with are out of this game for now. I always considered going to the end with Kyler and Alex. I thought that would be an interesting position because once Alex flipped at the merge, we knew that he was going to probably be Final Five. I don't think anybody here really feels that he's a competition threat. I've won a couple of competitions against him, and not like, what is this Survivor trivia question competitions, like math-based questions. Like, I feel like I've got him in a speed-based competition, but if it comes down to something like that weird safety challenge that we did right before the merge, where it came down to a roll of a die, at least on our side. It didn't really come down to a roll of a die on the social team. Mac had the opportunity to win that, and he got the die rolls that he needed, and he didn't do anything about it, which still haunts me to this day. But it's irrelevant because honestly, I'm so locked in with the faction The faction has driven strategy this game. We are the only people who have locked something in and stuck with it. Like, even Kyler was locked in with DJ. Like, the faction has been on the right side of the vote every vote. Literally every vote. The person that we wanted to go home went home, unless there was a social team cycle and we didn't get votes and we didn't get to compete in the safety challenge. And that's impressive. No matter what you say, there are people who are going to hate the faction when this season airs. I know it. There are even more people who are going to hate me when this season airs, and I love that. I've got a giant ego, and you can drag me 9 ways to Sunday. I really don't care. I think I am one of the greatest people to play a game like this, like a strategic game like this. This is, again, I'll say it again, this is something that I was born to do. I firmly believe that. And even if I lose this game, I think the fact that I've made it this deep with an alliance like the faction proves that I know what I'm doing. So when the faction is the final three, it's going to come down to a comp. And it's going to come down to most likely a randomizer. And as much as I talk about thinking about flipping with Alex and Kyler, because it'd be relatively easy, honestly, even if safety isn't kept at Final 5, I could still, like, I feel like I'd still be the swing there. If I tried to get Kyler to vote Bryce or Matt, I feel like he would do it in a heartbeat, which is weird. I always figured that I would be the one that he would vote out in a heartbeat. And maybe I am. And there's every possibility that he's told Bryce and Matt that he wants to flip on me at Final 5, or Final 4, or whatever he thinks the plan is. But Bryce, Matt, and I really have something in this game. Like, alliances that truly work and are formed on day one are extremely rare. Like, we were put in a random group of 14 people, and we just so happened to get lucky and get 3 people in a group of 7 who were able to maneuver their way through this game untouched. Well, I've maneuvered through this game untouched. Bryce has been touched. Bryce has been voted for a lot, and that's funny to me. The last vote was unanimous, as far as I know. I don't see why it wouldn't be. I think it was a 7-0 vote. 6-0. Somebody kept safety. Dawn kept safety. So it was a 6-0 vote, which makes sense, because nobody wanted to look like they were in the minority. If you had voted in the minority there, we would have known, and you would probably be the next person to go, because Bryce is paranoid. And I can't say I blame him. He's been getting votes a lot. And Matt got that 1 vote, which cracks me up. Like, Sorry voted for Matt. That was like the one person she knew coming into this game. Makes me happy. Kyler is untouched as well, I think. But that's just because literally nobody considers him a threat to win this game. Like, there's no scenario where Kyler sits in the end. Because he's either, if he rides us out to Final 4, which is what I expect him to do, because he's been stable so far. Like, he's done what he said he would do. That's more than can be said for a lot of these people. And honestly, I feel like Kyler knows he's on the bottom, but also knows there's nothing he can do about it. And I don't think... No, he'll do something about it. He'll definitely do something about it. Like, he has to do something about it. If he thinks he's on the bottom, he's going to do something about it. I know that. So he's going to come I know he's already told Bryce that he wants Matt out. I know that Kyler feels sketched out about Matt, which means that he probably approaches either Bryce and myself or Alex and myself to vote out Matt, or possibly all three of us, which would be incredibly foolish. If he approached all three of us, the second Kyler drops out of that call, Kyler's the target. Instead of Alex, which is the way it should be. Honestly, I think Kyler is a little bit more of a competition threat in this game than Alex is. No shade at Alex. Like, I respect the guy. I have mad respect for the guy. I just don't see him as a threat. Goat-like tendencies once again. But there is no such thing as a goat in this game unless that goat is literally unwaveringly loyal to you to the point that they will destroy their own step count beyond the point of a randomizer at the end and win the safety comp at final 3, destroy safety, and then vote out the person who would beat you to take you to the end with them. Like, to let you beat them. That is the only real GOAT in this game. This game is kind of interesting because there is no way to guarantee a vote, like a GOAT. Like, in a jury vote game, you can kind of look at what's happened all season and have an educated guess at where the votes are going to fall. But in a game like this, where it's all numbers, and those numbers either make you a threat or they don't. And this game is, once again, not about step management. It's about threat management. And even if you are a master of threat management, there is no telling what people will do in a final 3. I'll say it again. There is literally no telling what people will do in a final 3. If 19 seasons of this game have taught us anything, it's that nobody knows what somebody will do in a final 3. If the end, spoiler alert, if the end of season 20 has taught us anything, it's that nobody knows what somebody will do in a final 3. Matt Klinger, you idiot. Hashtag Sam was robbed. And Dominic is an ugly winner. So with that said, that's why I'm locked in with the faction. Bryce and Matt are a couple of incredible people. Like, they're the people who think the most similarly to me. And because of that, I want one of them to win this game. If one of the three of them, like one of the three of us, if one of the three of the faction wins this game, I feel like my game is proven successful. That's what this all leads up to. Like, anybody in that final 3, if a 3-person alliance runs this game, especially with a 14-person starting cast, none of this 5-person bullcrap, if you run this game with 14 people and there's only 3 of you and you manage to get to the end as a final 3, all 3 of your games are proven successful. Because at that point, it's literally every man for themselves. And there's no, again, aside from somebody who is looking out for somebody else's best interest aside from their own, which is just, it would destroy me if somebody did that in this game. I would feel like the integrity of the game was broken if somebody looked out for somebody else's own best interest. Like, there's a difference between being snowed and actively working against yourself. So, ceteris paribus, all things being equal, I feel like everybody who is left in this game is going to do what is in their own self-interest at this point. And the thing that is in the self-interest of the 4 strategists is to vote out one of the social team members at this point. And then at that point, it becomes irrelevant because the faction's best interest becomes what matters at the final five. The only thing that matters is what gets the three of us to the end. And I've talked a lot in my confessionals this season about how I wanted to be the one to flip on Bryce and flip on Matt before they got the chance to do it to me. But the more I think about how this endgame is going to unfold, because make no mistake, it will unfold in a relatively similar fashion every season. Because of the way that this endgame is going to unfold and because of how egotistical I am, I need the faction to be the final three. That is the only thing that validates my game. 100%. I can validate my game by winning against Alex or Kyler, but it's risky because if something goes wrong and I lose a comp to an Alex or lose a comp to a Kyler and get voted out and the two of them are the final two, I will legitimately hang myself. You see the closet right behind me? That one right there. I will get video of my dead body swinging from a noose if Alex and Kyler are the final two of this game. Like, I would never play another strategic game ever again because obviously I am a complete fool. Or Bryce and Matt did something so foolish that I was a fool to trust them. So, I'm nervous. Going into a final three with Bryce and Matt, because that's, the more I talk about it, the more I think that's the only option that I have. Going in, I think that I have to practice safety comps, which I've done word searches. Like, literally, I've generated word searches that have only the word safety in them, which is what I assume Grayson does for the tiebreaker safety comps in this game. And I have practiced finding it and getting really good at counting the row and the column really fast. And I feel like I've prepared as much as I can in that regard. But it's still scary. It's still there. Like, I know in a jury game, it comes down to a comp a lot of the times, because unless the person who's gonna win, who is the real jury threat, is voted out at that last cycle or challenge, then they win. But even then, social goats are a lot more easier. Excuse me. It's a lot easier to convince somebody that you're not going to win a jury vote than it is to convince somebody that you're not going to win a game that is determined by numbers. And especially when has there ever been a final cycle that didn't play out where everybody took threes and didn't steal from each other? Like, you would be stupid. I cannot imagine. Maybe. People are stupid. Like, we have also seen some really stupid things happen in this game, so it would not surprise me if something stupid happens and I need to eat my words. But that's okay, because we've done what we can. We've done everything we set out to do. I have done everything I set out to do. And when the faction is the final three of this season, I'll be satisfied. I don't look convincing when I say that. Like, watching this confessional record, I always look like I'm, like, in pain, or I I don't know. Maybe I don't smile much talking to a camera. It's weird because I smile a lot when I talk to people in general, unless I'm like really serious. Um, but I usually have a lot more facial expressions. I don't know. Maybe the wrinkles on my forehead are there a lot because a lot of the times I try to sound like I'm thinking. I don't know. This confessional has degenerated so much. Today's Thanksgiving, and I'm incredibly thankful for Grayson and Matthew Papa stepping in to host the season when we needed a host. Shout out Floppa. I'm incredibly thankful for the faction, for Brat, Bryce, and Matt. You guys have been incredible alliance partners to work with all season, and we have steamrolled. And even if something goes horribly wrong and the three of us are the next three eliminated, I'm still incredibly thankful to have been able to play this game with you guys. It's been so much fun. It's been so stressful playing with you guys, but I love you guys so much, and I feel like it's been less stressful than it would have been playing without you guys. So, mad shout out to my favorite Brat Pack, Bryce and Matt. You guys are crazy awesome. I'm incredibly thankful that Kyler put the past behind us. Like, Kyler showed more of a propensity to put the past behind us than I did. And maybe that has to do with his age. Maybe that's just a little bit of the innocence of youth. Maybe the fact that I've just been burned a few times makes me a little bit less likely to trust somebody after they've burned me. But he's shocked me. So I'm thankful that even if he flips on me at, like, let's say Final 6 or Final 5, or Bryce and Matt flip on me at Final 4, I'm still thankful that Kyler stuck with us and made this strategist team, no matter what, look like we came out on top, because short of something going crazy, at least one of us will be sitting in the end, and I expect the strategist, if there's not two of us at the end, I expect the one strategist at the end to win. That's the only fitting end to this season in my mind. Because, again, the social team is a dumpster fire, but that being said, the social team is a dumpster fire that is so near and dear to my heart. The 5 of you that I got to know, Mac, Kevin, Isaiah, Don, and Alex, y'all are awesome. Like, Kevin, you are so funny, and Isaiah, right along with him, you guys were cracking me up all season. Don is funny, but for a completely different reason. I relate to Don on so many levels. Come at me, bro. Alex, once again, you're the silent, like, quiet type, but you are a freaking stealth assassin because you are going to be the last socialist standing. I knew coming into this I was going to have a problem calling people socialists. Alex will not be the last socialist standing. He will be the last social team member standing, if everything goes according to plan. Let's hope it does. So yeah, mad shout out to everybody. This game has been so much crazy fun, and I cannot believe that I've made it this far. I cannot believe that things have gone this well. Scratch that. I can believe I have made it this far. I can believe things have gone this well. Because, alright, so the first game I played was the one that felt like a real game. Where, oh, I just don't want to be the first boot. Oh, I just want to make merge. Oh, I just want to win an immunity. Oh, I just want to get to the end. Oh, I just want to win. And I did it. And after that, man, it was... I have confidence. It's not arrogance, it's confidence. Arrogance implies that you believe that you are the best and that everybody else is beneath you. confidence implies that you believe you are the best, but you never take anybody for granted. You never underestimate somebody. And that is how I feel about this. I feel confident in the skills that I have displayed in this game. I think it is obvious that I know what I am doing. And I think it's obvious that there are other people in this game who also know exactly what they're doing. Not everybody. I think I'm one of the best. But, man, you never underestimate somebody. I've always tried to be clear and in these confessionals give scenarios, give outs, because everybody's gotten out. No matter what anybody says, you're never so out of a game that it can't be turned around. There is always something that can happen. That infinite possibilities and infinite worlds theory, that, there is always something you can do to get out of anything. So there are people who are better than others at these games. But when you start taking people for granted, that's the second that the arrogance takes over. And when arrogance takes over, you get tunnel vision. And man, that tunnel vision, it blinds you. It's like horse blinders. And all you can focus on is the finish line and how you're going to get to the finish line. And if you forget about the steps that you have to take to get to the finish line, your horse is going to trip and you're going to fall. And somebody else is going to win because you were so focused on the finish line that you forgot to remember to run. You have to run the race with endurance. You have to. And you have to remember that one foot in front of the other. And that's how I've played this game. I've done one vote in front of the other. And I've made plans trying to set myself up and set the faction up for a great endgame. But you can't get DJ out at the last pre-merge cycle without destroying safety at that second to last pre-merge cycle. There's a step there that if we had missed, something changes. And that butterfly effect it could change the entire outcome of this game. The social team could have stuck together. We could have been the dumpster fire, and it didn't happen that way. So, heading into this final 6 vote, we want to see Dawn go. Heading into the final 5 vote, I want to see Alex go. Heading into the final 4 vote, I want to see Kyler go. Heading into the final 3 vote, I want to see a great player win this game. And if the 3 things that I mentioned prior to the final 3 vote happen, then a great player of this game will win this game. All 3 of us have done something that has advanced the other two's game this season. I am not here by myself. I am here by the grace of Bryce and Matt. And I am big enough to admit that. I have no problem admitting that this is not my own doing. This is partially my doing, and I take my place in that. But without Bryce and Matt, none of us are sitting here at this point. So, man, I'm still broken. The fact that this is going to come down to a comp hurts. It hurts so much. You don't understand what it can feel like to have played such a dominant, strategic game and know that having the title, getting the satisfaction and the true validation, even though I said, I'll be validated if the faction is the final 3, getting robbed of that true validation of winning because of a comp is going to hurt somebody. And man, I really hope it's not me.